pulled me into this scene was the light, the way that it moves through the arches and turns the corridor into something glowing. Hi, I'm Beatriz. Welcome back to the studio. For today's sunlit arch, the challenge is simple. Can we make the light believable and warm while everything around it has to be darker? Scene has a lot going on, but the reason it works is the light. So instead of letting all the arches, the plants, or the textures compete with each other, I'm going to keep bringing everything back to the same questions. Does this help the glow? So today the goal is not to paint every single detail. The goal is to protect the light and still make the painting realistic and believable. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is put a very diluted, and by very diluted I mean almost water, of quinacridone gold, only the white of the paper, and we're going to have a lot of shadows. That white will be too sharp and not believable. So we need to tone down the white. Let's just start by wetting the paper. The light is coming through the arches this way. Today I'm painting an arches 140 pound cold press paper. I have everything pretty wet, and now I don't want to pile in with water, just wet. And now we start bringing this, and we're going to put it all everywhere. Yeah. And now we're going to let this dry by itself. Mixing my colors for the left side of the wall, which is going to be darker. This is burnt umber by Sminky, and I'm going to be mixing it with burnt sienna by Winsor & Newton. I am also bringing some neutral tint by Sminky, so that it gives me that kind of chocolate color, because this is going to be one of the darkest part of the painting. Blue Violet by Daniel Smith. Finally, some translucent orange by Sminky. And now that I have all my colors ready, we can go ahead and start painting. I'm going to start with the darker area, because once I know how dark this is, I will be able to gauge better how dark or light to go on the other ones. So let me drop, this is translucent orange. Now the mixes of browns, I'm going to start putting them here. I want the colors to blend in the paper. Needs to go a little bit darker. The paint got a little diluted. All right, to do is like get the impression of a diagonal here, and we don't need to keep putting a whole lot of detail. That will be enough. Time to switch to my cobalt violet, and then I start bringing some from the bottom up. All right, more of the diluted one. Let's just bring some around here as well. Start unifying these two colors. And this needs to be a little bit light, but not that light. Oh, kind of like a line is forming here, so be careful of that. Bring the color here, and we're gonna let this dry. Right, that is drying beautifully. Let's just go ahead and put these pads are also, and a little bit of light is hitting this way, and then it being shadow, so translucent orange. I'm gonna bring burnt sienna. And these two together, mix together for the other one that is more here on the back. Bring back the mix that we were having on the top, the dark mix is gonna be, especially here. This is starting to look a little bit like cut and paste. So let me do a little bit of this rim, and then all of this part is gonna have to start getting pretty dark. But I'm going to switch the colors in a second. And now I'm going to bring the violet colors that we have on the wall, and then we're going to unify this with the shadow that is on the wall. So I'm bringing the same browns that I have over there, and then brown and purple shadow and pad become kind of like the same thing. That's what we're aiming here for. I'm gonna bring it a little bit on the floor. However, I don't wanna paint the floor yet, so I'm gonna go with water and put this in a stopping point. I want this to do like it's all one, and then we will do the rest of the floor. Got this good. Now I had to do a little bit of blending here. Now I'm going to bring this Perylene green, lovely color by Michael Harding. It's almost like a black green. And then we're going to go ahead and start putting some of this greenery that comes around here. Nothing, it's all in shadow, so just impressions. One thing I don't want is a whole lot of white, but other than that, let's just put it now while these are kind of wet here too, because I want to put color here, and I don't want this to bleed too much. So we will revise it. Yes, I know it feels pretty out right now, but I need something pretty dark early on, because if the shadow stays too soft, chances are my lights will be too soft as well at the end. If I have it this way, then I can plan accordingly. This is my translucent orange, and I have it not too thick and not obviously not too diluted, but no food strain by no means. I'm gonna start putting some of it into these arches here. So we will come with another layer. That's why I am not trying to go full strength yet. This painting a little out of the ugly stage. To the translucent orange, I'm bringing here a little bit of queen gold, just that I can start to warm up this a little bit. And the reason why I'm starting here and skipping that is so to allow that a little bit of time to dry before I come with lighter color, right? I mean more water as I come over here. Put in a stopping point. I want to do the same thing. I don't want this to be so harsh. So now I'm going to come with water. I'm going to allow the orange to dry. And once my orange is completely dry, then I will come in this other side with the purples. With these colors that I was having over there, I'm going to bring some indigo. And I'm trying to make myself kind of like a black. Pick up my blackish color that I have made. And let's start bringing it here. And this kind of reflecting light is what it allows this to read as glass windows. So I come like this, and then again, one brush that only has dampness, I bring the color into the edge. Now, if your black went a little too far away, then just come and tap, bring it back in. That makes more sense. And now that I have put the second darker element besides this wall, which is the dark of the windows, I can judge better how light or dark to go on the rest of the surrounding areas. All right, so now everything is dry. Now I come with a cobalt blue violet. So that is a little bit too strong, so let's start coming with more water. I want a little bit kind of like of light, so that I'm not gonna paint. The rest I'm gonna paint over it. It doesn't matter because we will come back with black. Still this part to be a little bit more darker, from more to light. So let's just, while it's wet, let's just bring it with a little bit more punch to the color. Okay, so if I go a little bit higher here, go from more to less, then less, then you see how we are making the ceiling kind of charm. Burnt sienna, a little bit of the burnt umber, but I want to keep it more on the orangey side, so more burnt sienna. And then I'm gonna have a soft brush that is only gonna have water, and we're gonna start building some of these darks. Make sure that this is, may not be. Let's start with this other one. This is still pretty wet. So with this color, I put it over here, and I'm also building the arch, the shape of the arch. So top right here. And lastly, while this is wet, let's just bring some of the orange. We sort of brought this color in here. Let's just drop a little bit of this. Let's bring some of this one here too. One thing that I can do is I can bring this color. It's more diluted between the browns, diluted with a little bit of the orange. Make sure I stay within my lines. And while all of this is wet, let's get some of this violet color and then let's just drop in this inside part. I am just dropping the color. I am not rubbing it, okay? Just dropping it. So let's start putting this arch. Here is darker. So let's just start with this dark color first. And as we come to this end, I'm gonna start making it a little bit more orangey. So I come back with the orange. Now in this part here to the top, carefully, because this still is a little wet, I'm gonna wet some browns that I was using a little bit more here and here. Again, leaving the little line from like that other arch. Right away, drop my orange, and then we're gonna blend all of these. We will wait for this to dry before putting the dark one, but this is dry, so that means that I can do this. The orange first, then we switch to the burnt sienna and burnt umber. Obviously, this arch is going to be a little bit lighter, but notice that as I put this dark, I'm making these secondary arches here. So first I go with that. Then now I come with only water and I lighten this up. I'm going to push in the opposite direction so I don't continue to bring these colors farther away. A brush that has basically nothing, tap, tap. No, I mean, no water. That's what I mean by nothing. I'm darkening, but only with violet. And let's see, a little bit here too. Gonna blend. In the meantime, I can come with the purples for this one that is dry. So, cobalt blue violet. It's a little bit more in this end. And now I bring some closer to this bottom of the arch, drop, okay, and yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna put for the purple. Bring it a little, and to finish this up, I'm coming with the orange. I'm not gonna mess with this, I like that, just to brighten it up a little, tap, tap. I'm just gonna make this one, that's gonna be basically the same. This has dried enough, so just oranges, and then the mixes of the browns, and I will take care of these arches. And it's okay to go with a little bit more color. These ones are a little bit closer to us. Now that this is these two have blend, I can come with thicker, the same paint but thicker colors just to darken in these areas. Bring some and blend. This is looking good. Let's finish this area so we can concentrate on the light coming through here. So for this, this is queen gold, and we're gonna put it in this pad here, which is gonna be having a lot of light. So a little bit of the queen gold here. When it dries, let's just put some of the cobalt blue violet. Some are gonna be greenery here, but this is gonna be kind of in shadow, so we can start putting it, applying it. Okay, so for the greenery, I have Viridian, some cerulean blue, and a little bit of neutral tint, because we do want some greenery here, but we don't want it too bright. It's in the back after all. So give impressions, also not a whole lot of detail if we wanted to stay in the back, which we do. Now I'm gonna bring the indigo. And I'm gonna put it around here. Finally, we come with the cobalt blue violet, drop it around here and more on the outside, if you will. And then tap with water, bring some of those shadows to meet around here. Tap, tap, tap. And finally, we're gonna come with a little bit of burnt sienna and put a few darks here with the cobalt blue violet, a little bit of the orange, very diluted, kind of like a gray. And then we're gonna go ahead and start darken some of these inside arches. Bring it all the way up till here. Water, tap, tap, tap. And back to the purple so that these two can blend while everything is wet. Some of the colors that I was having here, I'm gonna bring to the tip while everything is wet so that it can blend. I'm gonna start putting some of this dark here because it's gonna separate this from the column. All I had to do is go over there and maybe one in this direction. Let's do it in all of them. Now that we did all this repetitive work, we are getting ready to paint the light and the shadows, because the shadows also helps bring in the light on. Small dark details like the lamp are going to help pushing the background farther, because this painting, this corridor, needs both depth and brightness to work. Now that this has dried enough for me to rest my hand, we're going to go ahead and put this lamp, which is going to push everything else farther away. Mix my black by using burnt sienna and French ultramarine. If you don't, just use whatever black you have. And let's just start putting these details. That's the line that comes from here to the shape of this lamp. Make sure that you come with a brush that has a good tip, because some of these ones are small and you have to be able to make them, you don't want it to be too big. I need to let all of this dry, and then we're going to come and do one little thing in the inside. However, what I can do is come with the darks, these dark browns that I was having before, and put a few things here and there. Something that are kind of coming out of the wall. And this part over here is also like going into that direction, so we need to put some of those browns here as well. Cobalt blue violet, a little hint of the indigo, darken a little bit there, but here not much. Tap tap with water. Alright, now we're finally gonna paint the light. So burnt sienna, diluted, orange, translucent orange, diluted. And then we're gonna warm it up a little bit by bringing quinacridone, okay? A lot of water. And then we can go ahead and start painting the light that is coming here on the inside of the arches. So, for example, here, whatever I have left in my brush, I'm coming over here and picking some of these cobalt violets, and then we're going from there to make it a little bit more grayish. Instead of doing each arch while I have the color, just in case I run out of it, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish these two columns. So this part is in shadow, so come with the darker color. We will darken them up and once this dry, and then let's start making them coming from more to less. So I drop the color, I rinse the brush, and then I bring it down. Since I'm just gonna do the same thing to these other three, I'm gonna fast forward this part. And as you can see, little by little, we are, by putting these dark colors, we are already starting to add it to that feeling of light and shadow. Like in the middle of the day when the shadows are very strong, meaning whatever the sun hits, it almost washes out all the color, which in this case is the original color that we put when we did the underpainting. Finally, this one here is more on a shadow and a little bit darker, so I'm bringing to the same colors a little bit of neutral tint and make it a little bit more greenish. Alright, so we let all of this dry so we can put a few details, the shadows, and this painting is almost done. Now I need a gray that is a little bit on the purple side, so cobalt blue violet, and I'm mixing it with some of my oranges that I have here. Or you can also mix it with neutral tint, up to you. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put the ones that separate, the ones that go on that direction, and it's also gonna bring these columns forward. We're gonna bring it till around here because on the bottom are gonna have some greenery as well. So just come with a little bit of water, put it here in a stopping point. So let's just do it till around here. Wet again, so I don't have a hard edge. While everything is wet, I come with the orange, same translucent orange. So we want these two to blend in the paper. So I'll come back with my brush. Alright, I just realized I messed up with my drawing here. This one doesn't go over there. It needs to come all the way to the top. So let's just fix that with color. Back to the grays. I have a liner here that I'm gonna try to take it out. And a little of the orange right here. And then bring some of the grays, especially here. And like I mentioned before, we don't have to put much color because this part is the one that is being sun drenched. Therefore, there is no color on the other parts. This is the perfect time to start putting the dark shadows on the ground. For one, it's going to unify all of this, and secondly, it will allow me to know how dark or light to go here instead of keep putting layers that it may not be enough. So, cobalt blue violet. Let me put it here in case I need to go lighter. No, I think this will be good. All right, so we start find the ones that are your shadows, then go from more to less, and then more again. So, put a little bit of water, leave it put it here in a stopping point, if you will. Water down since it's farther away, so we can continue to create the illusion of distance. I'm gonna get darker shadows here, so I'm gonna use the Winston violet. I'll put a little bit, it's a little bit stronger than the cobalt blue violet, so I'm gonna mix both. We have a lot of light here, so then we come with the orange, a translucent orange, and we're gonna put it first. Then I pick some of the Winston violet, some of the cobalt blue violet. With these two, now we can come on the opposite and then start bringing the blue shadow to meet the orange one. Then come with water. Put this in a stopping point. Bring it up. The way that you can do it is wait a little. Put one color first. In this case, I have more light over here. Let's come with some of the queen gold. I drop the queen gold. Then one end, then in the other. Then go to the orange. Bring it out here. And bring it on the other end as well. And you can do same thing that we did on the ceiling. Bring our color, in this case the orange, all the way. We let it dry. And once this is dry, we come with the secondary color, with the darks in this case. Okay, so of course we're gonna have to let this dry. And yes, you can come with a little bit more color. This part is a little bit darker, but don't go full restraint yet, because nevertheless, remember we are putting a second color one on top of this one, so we need to allow for that. Well, this one dries. Back to my dark colors, burnt sienna and burnt umber. Some of those diluted colors we put in the parts that are darker here, and darken here as well. Allow this to be bright. Might as well put it in right now, since it is in our brush. Some of these darker browns come over here, go up a little too, in this direction, And of course all of this will, like I mentioned, will have some green as well, but now we can put it with some of the browns, and finally the mark of the bottom of the columns. That, and this is a little bit thicker. All right, so I'm gonna do all of these and every single one of them. So it's a little repetitive. Let me put it once I get into fast forward motion. Alright, so let me do this one in real life. Here, as you can see, we are painting the light. If we put the shadows, this is an important thing. How we paint the light? We paint the light by actually painting the shadows and then leaving some of the other areas unpainted, especially in a sunny day, then it will wash out. And then some other ones, we just put a few shifts of light that brings the sense of the sunny day. All right, so basically this is as much as what we paint as what we left unpainted. Just gonna get this diluted orangey and brown colors, and then we're just gonna put like a big shadow right here. Go like this, and then just drag. And that's all I'm gonna do. I need to wait for this to dry before I can put some darks out there. So this is a great time to finish this bottom one too. I have a line that it will go over there. And then I'm gonna kind of dilute it here. Then with the same colors, cut this other part. And all of this is gonna be dark. This part that is in shadow, I'm gonna start bringing the purples mixed with a little bit of brown. And look, I had to work fast because I just want to put the impression of these ones, and then right away rinse and come with water. So I have the shadow, but I don't have a hard edge. Obviously darker at the bottom always. So bring some of those browns and put them over here, and then actually I can start putting some here as well. And to bring our greens, we already established that there is some of the other arches going into that direction. So basically what we're doing right now is negative painting around this structure is gonna bring them out. And also let us know that there's something else. We are simplifying a very complex painting. So nevertheless, we have a lot of different elements to keep in mind, but we are by not putting a whole lot of details, this very complex painting is coming to life. All right, so that's that, burnt sienna. And we're gonna put, like, if it is a tree underneath. My sap green, because this is behind, nevertheless, I'm bringing some, I added a little bit of neutral tint, because nevertheless, this is in a different plane. If it is too bright, it will come too much forward, and we don't want that. So green, which is the very dark green, we're gonna put the impression of a bush growing through it. Go negative painting, so the bottom of this column shows. So fill this up and then just go up a little bit. Now we're starting putting some of the reflections and greenery coming here. This is olive green with a lot of quin gold. So first I go with that. More of the olive green. As I do this, I do the negative painting of the column, if you will. Not a whole lot of detail because it's pretty far in the back, but it's gonna make this pop. And then we're gonna bring this color all the way to the bottom. Again, I switch, and then I start making the side of the column and darken it up. I mean, we're gonna go more dark, but keep that. And here, back to the perylene green. That's where we're gonna go the darkest. And now we come up. I start bringing here the queen gold with the olive green. Have this, I want this to be lighter, like it's light coming through. Let's see shadows. You can put another one around here, more orange. Maybe got some of those things. I don't know if we put in nonsense things here. Bring some of this warmer color for the shadows here as well. This is gonna be same color. Go to the dark browns. And we are just pretending to do shadows here, so it doesn't have to be anything in particular. Just allow for shade and light and shade, and then tiny bit of orange inside, I mean outside this or inside here, however you want to call it. And we put some, bring some over there, top, 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 top. A little bit more of our some greenery is coming here at the bottom. We're gonna put the shadows and we're gonna be done. So perylene green. Then come with the dark browns. Allow for some of the light. This is a lot of light coming through, so allow for some of this to show there too. Dark. Now some of this dark is gonna come this way. Wet. Now while everything is wet, I bring some purples in this area. Go from more to less, bring the olive green with the queen gold, drop it, some of that, drop some of the darks, bring it into the shadows, bronze sienna, around here, and then back to the greens. All right, let them blend. Well, all of this is what I like to put my shadows so that they don't look like copy paste. So these are coming with the dark browns. Actually, I can darken this a little bit more. And then we start bringing some of these darks out. Let's just bring, the darkest shadows are here. So brown with indigo, and then we're gonna, don't be shy. We're almost gonna look like a black. That's what we need to. Our paint consistency is a little bit in the thicker size. So let's get some of this across. Now we come with our purples. They are gonna be less thick than this paint, but I put some over here and then I bring some into these browns at the bottom. I bring it here, I put it up into the wall. Bring it to there. This is actually pretty dark as well, as you can tell by that. Bring it up a little, just with your fingers. We don't need to disturb all that, that is very pretty. Okay, and now I'm gonna start bringing this with, we do want some of this orange that we put up there. I'm bringing it, this part is lighter. So I bring my purples, let's just say here, and let's just bring it there. So closer to the walls is where we go darker. And then as we get to the metals is where we get it lighter. So let me bring this color here, greens, and then just go with water. And for this, we're gonna have to bring the browns back here. So let me darken here, there. All of this has to be dark. Mix it with the blues and purples. Once again, bring some of that. Now we let this come out because it still is pretty wet. and we allow all of this to dry. So I think I need to darken this one. Bring a little bit of browns here too. And as you can see, by putting all our darks, the light came out. So the light gets accomplished by how we put our darks where and how strong. So we could say easily that this was a lesson in restraint. It's tempting to put all the details that we see in a beautiful image like this, but if we paint in the light, remember, we need to simplify around it so that we can allow the painting some room to breathe. As always, the Paint Along pack with the templates and the final painting is in Patreon, alongside the bonus mini lessons that go out every Wednesday. I thank you so much for being here. I hope you learned something today. I will see you